Do you want to know what it really takes to be successful in college? In this episode of College on Fleek, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that I watch students make in college. And this way, you can avoid them and be successful. I'm Mary Dittman. I'm an award-winning business professor on the collegiate level and the creator of One-Derful Life and College on Fleek. I'm in my 19th year of teaching, and over the years I've noticed what separates successful students from not successful students. And if you're watching this, I assume that you want to be a successful student, so I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that I have watched students make. Now, before we do that, let's take a motivation minute. One of the things that can really kill your motivation is when you feel overwhelmed or you're just not sure what you should be working on. And for that reason, you need to keep a calendar. My experience has been that the little calendar on my iPhone wasn't enough. I like to look at a month view and actually see what I have going on. And the thing about the iPhone that I didn't like is the calendar. I can just see little dots on the days when I have something. I don't like that. I want to see what I have on a month view. I also like to see what I have on a week and each day. I recommend a paper planner because you never have to worry about the planner dying or getting wet or you forgot to back it up. You can certainly find student planners or academic planners anywhere from a dollar store to Walmart to an office supply store. I have students who have told me that they'll just print off a calendar from the internet, or they'll use a dry erase calendar on the wall in their room. It really doesn't matter what type of calendar you use as long as it works for you and you actually use it. One of my friends one time told me she's really good about writing stuff in her calendar, but then she never looks at the calendar. Therefore, she forgets everything she's supposed to be doing. So the best calendar system is the one that you will use. And the truth is, if we want to get something done, it needs to be in our calendar. If you have a set appointment for something and it's on your calendar, you're going to go to it. But if you don't keep track of your appointments and where you're supposed to be, or deadlines and things that are due, if that's not on a calendar, those deadlines are always going to come sneak up on you and you're never going to feel prepared. In college, you have so much going on. You're probably working, or maybe you're an athlete, you're taking a full load of classes, plus you're probably trying to maintain a social life, and there is a lot going on, and you can't just trust that you're going to be able to keep it all in your head. So do yourself a favor and use a calendar. Now, in every episode, we like to give you a study hack or a success hack. Today, I'm going to give you a success hack, which actually ties in well, I think, with our motivation minute, because the success hack is simply be responsible. Now that you're in college, there's really nobody who's going to remind you all the time that you need to get up and go to class, and you need to do your homework, and you need to go to bed early. And with college comes a lot more freedom that maybe you didn't have before. And a lot of people get into trouble with that freedom. They'll start partying and staying out late and skipping classes and not doing their work. And a big part of being an adult is you have to be responsible. That means you can't always just do what you feel like doing. Like, you might feel like staying up all night playing video games, but if you have to get up and go to class the next morning, that's just not a good thing to do. Being responsible means that you have to take ownership of all the things that you're involved in. So it is your responsibility to keep up with your classes. It's your responsibility to make it to practice or bring your best to your team. It's your responsibility to get to work and do a good job. Again, this is where a calendar will help you so that you're not dropping the ball on stuff all the time. And it can be really hard to get everything done. And I'm a big fan of getting more done in a short amount of time. And that's why when I mentioned a study hack, if you go to collegeonfleek.com and get the Study Smart Toolkit, I don't believe in studying 8 and 10 hours for an exam. I believe in a minimal amount of studying and getting a really great grade. So if you'll get that Study Smart Toolkit, it's free. It's a video tutorial. It's one-on-one, basically me teaching you how to study. It's good for any class, any major, any university, and even high school students and graduate students have used it. I've taught that method to thousands of students over the years, and it works. So do yourself a favor, go to collegeonfleek.com, get that Study Smart Toolkit, and that's taking responsibility for your study habits and your grades. So there you go. It's not only a study hack, it's a success hack as well. But get that Study Smart Toolkit so that you can do well on your exams. Now, I can't make any guarantees, okay? I'm not a magician. Just because you download the Study Smart Toolkit and watch the video doesn't mean you're going to get an A. You actually have to do what's in there. But the students I've coached who have followed my suggestions get a lot better grades than what they've gotten before, normally A's and B's. Go to collegeonfleek.com. We have a lot of great resources for you there. All right, well, let's get into this. I've been teaching, I'm in my 19th year at Francis Marion University, and I love teaching. I love my students. And honestly, I've seen a lot of mistakes, and I've seen a lot of smart things that students do. And it was challenging for me to just only select 3 mistakes that I've seen students make over the years. But I think these are the 3 big ones, so I want to share these with you. And I hope that you'll avoid making these mistakes and save yourself some grief and some heartache. The first mistake that I have seen students make that really derails them is being unorganized. Everything from just shoving a bunch of stuff in their backpack to their room being a mess. They can't find things. They're losing their textbooks and their notebooks. They lost their flash drive. They can't, they left their laptop somewhere. They can't find their exam. They can't find their homework. They forgot something was due. Just in general being disorganized. Hey, that goes really well with our success hack from today, which is to be responsible, and our motivation minute, which is all about having a calendar. Here's the thing. If you want to succeed at anything, you've got to get your S to G. Get your shoot together. You got to get your S to G, period. You got to get it zipped up tight, whatever that means for you. If that means file folders or a 3-ring notebook, or you just take some time once a week. What I do is once a week, on Sunday, I clean out my bag, my work bag. I make sure everything's all organized and I don't have a bunch of, wrappers, gum wrappers and Kleenexes and scrap paper in there. But being organized is super important because you have a lot that you're trying to keep up with. Plus, when you're dealing with a lot of clutter, that really messes up your brain because your brain is trying to keep track of all of the cues it's getting in your environment. And it's really hard for your brain to focus on math problems when it's distracted by stacks of papers and laundry all over the place. When you're more organized in your environment, you will be able to focus better. So I don't know what else to say about this. Get your S to G and be organized. The second mistake that I see a lot of students make is just not taking care of themselves. And it's hard in college, especially if you're working. I know I have a lot of students who are taking a full load of classes and then they're working nearly full time, and so maybe they're not even getting home until 1 a.m. If you have a work schedule where you have to work until 1 or 2 a.m., maybe you don't want to be taking an 8:30 a.m. class. Maybe if you can work your classes to where you can take your classes a little bit later in the morning so you can get a little bit more sleep. Getting enough sleep is critically important. Staying hydrated, drinking water, making sure that you're eating healthy, just taking care of yourself. It's so easy to get run down in college. If you're out sick It's so hard to get caught up, or a lot of times students will drag themselves to class when they're sick, and then you're really just not even able to pay attention or even learn anything. And listen, most of us in college, we cut corners on sleep. We stayed out later than we should have. We probably ate things or ingested things that we shouldn't have. But it is a problem for college students when you're getting run down and you're not taking care of yourself. So it impacts your performance everywhere, in the classroom, at your job. And I've had students that don't take care of themselves and end up in the hospital for whatever reason, and it is really hard to get back on track and get caught up. Being sick can really derail you, or even just being exhausted can knock you out for a semester. So making sure that you're eating and that you're drinking enough water and that you're getting enough rest is critically important. A third mistake that I've seen students make is not using their resources. There are so many resources on college campuses that are available for you, and a lot of students don't take advantage of them. First of all, most campuses have a counseling center, which is free for students, and that is a really great place that if you're feeling overwhelmed, or maybe you have something going on in your life, maybe your parents are splitting up, or you're dealing with grief or depression or anxiety, go to the counseling center. That is a fantastic place to get help. It is confidential, and you don't have to have everything on your shoulders and try to figure out everything by yourself all the time. The counseling center is a fantastic place to get support and to find someone who can help you with solutions. Many campuses also have a testing center. Now, at Francis Marion, our testing center is with our counseling center, and in the testing center, what they can do for you is a lot of times they'll have a variety of different aptitude tests that you can take that help you determine what you might be interested in for a career, or different personality tests that will give you some insight into things that you might be interested in or that you might be good at. So check those things out. Now, sometimes in the testing center, there might be a nominal fee for the different tests, but it's so worth it, like $10 or $20, to go and get a little bit of direction and help for yourself. Most college campuses also have tutoring centers and writing centers where you can go and get assistance on classes where you're struggling, or help with writing things. Now, I know our writing center at Francis Marion, they'll help you fill out a job application, they'll help you write an essay to get into graduate school, they'll help you write a lab report, they'll help you with anything that you need to write. And so why struggle and try to do everything by yourself when you can go and get help from someone who knows what to do? And I've had students say, well, I'm too proud to go. I should be able to figure out everything by myself. But the truth is, nobody can figure out everything by themselves, because if we could, we wouldn't need YouTube. And if you could figure out things by yourself, you wouldn't be struggling with anything. And even if you could figure it out by yourself, why wouldn't you just make it a little easier and go get some help? And I've had students say, well, I don't want the people to think I'm dumb. Nobody thinks you're dumb if you go to the tutoring center or the writing center. What's dumb is needing help and not getting it. Also, a lot of times your professor, when the writing center or the tutoring center notifies them that you came in, that is only good for you. The professor will always look at that and say, hey, all right, this kid's making an effort. They went to the tutoring center, or they went to the writing center. They're trying to improve for themselves. There's no downside to going to the writing center or the tutoring center for help. Frankly, there's no downside to going to a counseling center for help either. I always say, if your car isn't working right, you take it to the mechanic. If your phone screen was cracked, you would take it to someone who could repair it. Well, if something's not quite going right, either for you mentally, emotionally, or with your academics, go see someone who knows about that stuff and get some help. One of the things that successful adults learn is that you can't do everything by yourself. You just can't. You're going to need help in some areas, some things you can outsource. There are people who have figured out ways to get things done, and systems and processes If writing is a struggle for you, go to the writing center. They can coach you, they can help you. If you have a subject that you're struggling with, go to the tutoring center where someone can help you work through the information so that you can understand it. Why would you sit there for 5 hours banging your head against the wall trying to figure something out when in 30 minutes a tutor could help you understand it? It doesn't mean you're dumb, that means you're smart. You're smart because you're going to go get help for your problem. Now, I would like to know some of the things that maybe you're struggling with in college. Tell me in the comments what you would like to hear more about. And I also have another question for you, which is, do you use a calendar? Put that in the comments and let us know if you use a calendar, and if so, what kind of calendar do you use? And remember, you can always connect with us at collegeonfleek.com. We have a lot of great resources for you there. And make sure you join us next week because we're going to share with you some stress management tips to get that stress under control. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on College on Fleek.